What's up, guys? It's your Money Cat. Hope you guys had a good week. This past week, I released videos on NIO and Tesla, and so many of you guys watched it. So many of you guys subscribed to my channel, so I really thank you. Truly, I appreciate all your support. So today, this video is going to be a twofer. We're going to talk about both Tesla and NIO and kind of compare the two. So first, let's look at NIO. This is 180 days for our time frame chart for NIO. It really had a roller coaster ride this past week. NIO was falling hard earlier in the week on the back of news that Chinese stocks may get delisted from US markets, and that bill actually did pass the House late Wednesday. So now companies have like 3 years or so to comply or face the possibility of getting delisted from the US stock markets. So while it was falling on Wednesday before the announcement of the bill passing, that day we hit this support area right here that we talked about last time on video. So I mentioned that this $39 level could prove to be a very strong support for various reasons. There were a lot of converging possible support lines. One was this green line, 180 days moving average. The other one was this diagonal line right here. I called it a conservative uptrend line that's began all the way back here, as well as this horizontal line around $39 that was acting kind of as a support back here. So 3 lines converging to provide support, as well as being oversold in RSI, as well as the MACD having dipped below the usual levels. Maybe it was a fluke, maybe it was all that support, who knows, but NIO jumped 22% intraday. Now overall, it only gained a few percentage points because it opened the market at negative 14%. But during the day, it turned it into a green day, which was very impressive. It ran up about 22%. So if you were able to get in at the market open and got out at the end, props to you, heart of a lion. But now if we look at the bigger picture, I want to point out that we are still making lower highs, and we are kind of perfectly following this trend line downward right here. So making lower highs means we're headed downward. And it looks like we are heading into either a wedge or a descending triangle. It really doesn't matter because the end point for both possible patterns are so close within a day that it doesn't really matter trying to differentiate whether this is a wedge or this is a descending triangle. The important point here is that from the looks of it, NIO definitely looks like it's heading downward. Because of that, I'm personally leaning towards this descending triangle being confirmed rather than the wedge. So we're going to go based off of this descending triangle pattern. The key level will still be this horizontal line around $39, as that price level has proven as a support level. And it looks like the end of this descending triangle will play out in probably 3 trading days or so, maybe 4. So that would put us at next week. Looking at the potential reversal and upside, the stock will probably play out the rest of this pattern and bounce off of the support at 39 and break out. Now, because NIO stock is very volatile in nature, and there are some things kind of up in the air with, what's going to happen with Chinese stocks. So I personally don't feel too comfortable getting into NIO unless there is a pretty surefire confirmation. So for me, that confirmation would be step number 1, breaking above this descending triangle. It has to break the descending pattern in order for it to reverse and go up. And then number 2, I think this is the important part. For me, it needs to clear the previous lower high. So right now, that would put us at around this level, which looks like it'll be about 48, maybe 49 or so. So if it doesn't clear this level, meaning even if it reverses, but it gets stuck at that level and has a downturn like this, then to me, that is not a confirmation of a trend reversal. So it would need to break above that $48, $49 and head up like this. Even better if it turns around and confirms that as a support and goes into something like this. Now, the problem with waiting for all this confirmation is that you're going to be missing out on a lot of potential gain. But NIO, for me, is just too volatile right now that I think I need to wait for all these confirmation to feel comfortable enough to get into a trade or even invest long term. If you're feeling a little bit more risky, I think around this $39 support level could be a good potential entry point in the hopes that this support level defends well and the price is able to bounce off of it. But keep in mind, descending triangles are more often than not a bearish pattern, and what usually happens is it goes to the end of the pattern and breaks to the downside. So let's look at the downside now. Where's the next key level if it breaks below this $39 support level? Well, the next level is around $30. Right here, there's really no data. It just kind of went straight up, which means that it wasn't able to establish any support or resistance line. Remember, old resistance becomes supports, old supports become new resistance. So if there was no resistance in this level, that also means there's no support for when it comes back down. So the next level of support that I see is around $30, meaning once it breaks below this support, this current support that we might be testing soon, we have all this room to go down. Now let's talk about what's going on in general, because this is not happening only to NIO. This is happening to XPeng. This is happening to Li Auto, as well as other Chinese stocks because of the possibility of getting delisted. If you look at the chart for Li Auto, XPeng, they all look very similar to NIO stock. And I think this concerns me more than it would have if this problem was specific to NIO. I think it would be a lot easier if this downslide was specific to NIO or because of NIO's fault, like poor delivery numbers or poor execution. Then it would be easier to plan out your attack, plan out your trades or investments. But delivery numbers wise, NIO is still doing well. And I think that puts us at a difficult position trying to figure out, okay, NIO is still doing well. However, we have this very large potential roadblock of possibly getting delisted from the market. And so it's very hard to figure out which one will win at the end. Now, as we flip gear to talk about Tesla, I do want to mention that this current downslide that we're in for all these Chinese EV stocks, I think it can be a short-term boost for Tesla because as people get out of NIO, XPeng, Li Auto due to the fear of them getting delisted down the line, where are they going to turn to? They're not getting out of these companies necessarily because they don't believe in EV anymore. Like, let's face it, it's almost a fact. It is a fact that EVs will be the future and they are here to stay. So if these investors don't necessarily want to get out of the EV sector, but they're kind of forced to because NIO, XPeng, Li Auto possibly getting delisted from the market, where are they going to turn to? The answer is Tesla. I think if this downslide continues, you'll see some of the money come out of these Chinese companies and go into Tesla. Let's look at Tesla now. This is the 180 days 4-hour time frame chart for Tesla. This is zoomed in, so let me just explain the lines here. This line right here is around 530, and that is from the previous all-time high, now acting more as a support. I've drawn this new line right here around 600, as the 600 mark has been kind of difficult to break in the last couple days of trading. There's no solid reason why the 600 mark is being difficult to break, other than that it is a whole round numbers, and sometimes in technical analysis, prices get stuck at these whole round numbers because people associate it with it more subconsciously. For example, a stock may find it difficult to break above $100 for the first time because it's trying to go from 2-digit number to 3-digit number, and that may feel like it's a bigger difference than it actually is subconsciously. So now we're hanging close to $600. We'll call that the new resistance for now. Now, this past week, we were able to bounce off of this support line right here around 530, 535. So it was able to bounce off of that and head back onto near 600 again. Even if we get rejected at 600 a few times, I think this support line right here on 530, 535 will prove to be pretty darn strong, because it was the all-time high previously, meaning it was the all-time high resistance before. And once it broke through, it came back and it confirmed it as support. So even if it goes down, I think we retest it and we head back up again. Now, I think there could be one more small push left in Tesla before a sort of more meaningful correction or pullback. The reason is, if you look at the 1-year daily chart, if you look at the RSI, the previous 2 times RSI has reached around this level before having a reversal and turning back down. We are not yet quite close to this resistance line yet. So we have a little bit of room to still go to meet that resistance. As well as if you look at the MACD, it's definitely coming to a point where it will cross and head downward. However, it hasn't yet, and we do have this little gap still left. So until the cross happens, I think there's a little bit of more room to go for Tesla. This part is just sort of personal speculation. In the overall scheme, in the big picture, like 5 years, 10 years, this little thing has absolutely no impact whatsoever. But just for the short term, this is kind of my speculation for Tesla. If it doesn't happen and we get rejected at 600, then like I said, I'll be looking at the 530, 535 support line right here for a key level to defend. And if we do get to that point, we will definitely revisit Tesla and talk about, what will happen from then on. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stock videos like this. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Get ready for another wild week in the stock market. Until next time, this has been your Money Cat.